For more information, email me at wewillnotstop2012@yahoo.com.
I hope you're all having a good day. My name's Thomas. This is Christopher and Chris. As we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, and then tell us what you're here to talk to us about.
All right, Christopher Rich. I'm Jonathan Rich's little brother. I'm 19, and I go to Truett McConnell College in Cleveland, Georgia, which is just north of Gainesville. I'm here to talk today, as you saw in the video. I'm partnering with Charity Water. It's a nonprofit out of New York City that I'm very, very passionate about.
Okay, now, Charity Water is an organization that we as a church have been partnering with for about 4 or 5 years, and we view what they do as an extension of loving our neighbor, which is, if you've been around here, you've kind of heard that. And what I want to hear from you is how are you connected to Charity Water? How did you get connected with them, and how are you loving your neighbor through Charity Water?
Okay. My brother Jonathan, he's a one-man rock and roll show. He, as you know. But about 2 years ago, he did a thing called Buy a Record, Save a Life, which basically I made a rock and roll album called Good and Evil, and he sold it for $10, digital and physical sales. 100% of that was straight Charity Water. And you know, as I talked to him about stuff about Charity Water, found out what they're all about, it was really cool. But I didn't really know like how I could possibly get involved, how I could help. I bought one of his records. That was $10, but that was pretty much the extension of how I helped at that point. Last summer, I think that 1027 actually had a Buy a Record, Save a Life concert.
Yeah, like 2 years ago?
2 years ago, right? Something like that. But last year I was on the way back home from Florida. If you know much about Florida, you're by the coast, they don't have great water. It doesn't taste good. That's a very first world problem. And I kind of struggled with that as I was looking off into the pine trees passing on the highway. And I was like, what could I possibly do to raise awareness and maybe raise a little money? I came up with carrying water at the Peachtree Road Race, which is what I did last year. It was pretty successful, raised some money. But the moment I crossed the finish line, I cannot express to you the physical hardship that my body had been through. I ran the first part of the race with the empty jerry can, which weighs a couple pounds, but I filled it up at the halfway point with 5 gallons of water, which is what women and children do every day. And it was extremely hard. I crossed the finish line, and automatically I felt like I had just stepped off the plane back to America, having gone to Africa, because I had walked in their shoes, and it was incredible. Like I cannot, that's the best I can explain it. It was a very intense experience, and ever since that day I've been trying to figure out what I can possibly do to get the word out, get more people involved. And one of the things I've been doing so far is I've got up Facebook, a like page, Twitter, made a YouTube video. With social media, as you've seen in the past couple of days, you've probably seen the Kony 2012 video or heard about it. Social media is very strong in how it communicates to people. And Charity Water actually put this video on their Facebook page, and some crazy things have happened. Like a architect guy that has a firm in Atlanta contacted me. He said he's got about 15 people at his firm. They sponsored a well through Charity Water before, and they want to get on board to some extent, if that means walking or helping out with sponsorships or whatever. And also there's a lady in North Carolina that I have no relation to. She just saw the video on the Facebook page, and her and her husband are going to come down with some friends and do the race on the 4th.
That sounds good. Now we as a church give to Charity Water each year through the gift offering that we take up at Christmas. And we do that, and it's a very practical way to help, but it's not very hands-on. So I think we would all be interested in perhaps a more hands-on approach to helping out Charity Water and their cause. What can we do to help you?
What you can do to help me? You can pass around that video to your friends and family via Facebook, Twitter, email, what have you. And you can also join me on July 4th by carrying water. We've got about 60 people signed up right now. Probably 100 is a more realistic goal. But you can definitely join us by carrying water. There'll be a sign-up sheet with flyers in the back if you have any interest at all. You know, like you said, Thomas said that, you know, Team 27 gives a certain amount each year to charity water, and the hands-on approach is something that, like, I'm super passionate about, because you can give money, but until you've walked a mile in somebody's shoes, and this point 6, which is what the Peachtree Road Race is, you never know how they really feel, and it'll be a great event. That's all I can say.
And now, I know it's a race. If anyone does this, do they have to
You
run?
can definitely walk. That will not be a problem. And depending on how much water you're carrying, there's no possible way you could possibly run anyways for the second half of the race after you run, jog, or walk the first half of the race.
Nice, nice. A final question I think that is very appropriate is, you've been involved in charity water for...
Been involved, I guess, just last July 4th was the first thing I did, and it just kind of clicked, and it's become a really strong passion of mine.
Okay, now, how have you seen your understanding of the gospel increase, and how have you seen your, I guess, giving the gospel to others increase through your involvement at Charity Water?
Okay. So, growing up as a kid in Sunday school and all that, one of the strong stories out of the Bible is loving your neighbor as yourself. And as I see that, it's like a 5-year-old or kindergartner, you see that as, oh, my next door neighbor. The kids I'm at school with, the people I go to church with. When in actuality, we live in a global community, and what that means is that not only is your neighbor, but also villagers in Africa are your neighbor. And that's it's called a village for a village. And doing this is an example of Christ's love, and it's a great example for people to see, like, what it means to be loved with no condition. Because what have people in Africa done to have Americans care about them? Maybe nothing, but because of Christ loved us, and we're called to love our neighbors as ourselves, we're called to love, in this case, people that don't have life's most basic need, which is water. And I guess I've seen it kind of lived out because I've Facebook chatted away. I've spammed people out the wazoo on Facebook and Twitter and emails. And lots of people have been very receptive of it. And I've had lots of friends that were more acquaintances in high school, but they've kind of hopped behind it. And I have a feeling that, like, what we're doing at 4th is going to spark a lot of conversations about, like, why would a random 19-year-old want to do something like this? Why does he care about people in another nation? And that opens the perfect door to say, hey, Christ loved me. He called me to love you and African villagers. So I guess it's just been a really cool experience this part, and I'm really excited about where it's going.
Nice. And we're excited too, which is why we need to know contact information.
Contact information. We will not stop 2012 at yahoo.com is the official email, and all that information and whatnot's on the flyers in the back, and there's a sign-up sheet. If by chance you'd like to go to the sign up today, that'd be awesome and very encouraging.
And all of that's on the Connect table back there, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you, Chris, so much. And
Thank you.
It's good talking to you.